One of the most fundamental things to do in the admissions module is to create a new family. There are two ways you can do that easily. One is, under the File menu, go New Family. Or, if you're on the Families pane, you can go to Actions, New Family. Actually, there is a third way. You could right-click, and from the contextual menu, do New Family. These all result in the same thing. A blank family screen opens up. The yellow boxes indicate information that should be contained in order to save the record. It's very minimum. We have to put in a family name. I'll just put in a fake name here. And the status, the family status initially is no status, but you can choose from any of the lists from your drop-down defined by your school. This particular school has used dealing with the relationship within the family. Other information you can enter, a formal salutation. So should this be Mr. and Mrs.? Should this be Captain and Colonel? Whatever the formal salutation is. And the informal salutation, should this be John and Mary? The category, again, what type of admission category is this? For instance, this might be a UN employee. If you use the OSAC or GRASP programs, you can enter their corresponding codes. If your school uses student houses and the entire family is assigned to a house, it can be put in. The shared home phone number can be put in, and how they heard about the school. There's also a place for a general note for future reference, and obviously initially a family is active. We have room for a main address, an additional address, which the meaning behind it will depend upon the definition of your school. It may be their home country address, or it may be a summer address. And then there's room for a billing address if pertinent. Note that if the billing address is left vacant, then the main address is used. We also have room for 2 emergency contacts. We can define an emergency medical facility as the default for the family. Again, this comes from our lookup. And if there's a company sponsor for this family, we can pick that. Note that in some cases the family won't have the company, instead just an individual family member would. Once we've defined the fields, we can then save it. Notice that there's other tabs here, but they're grayed out. They're not accessible yet. And we also have the ability to add family members to this screen. But until we save it, nothing else can happen. So let's save this. And here it's changed it. It's issued a family ID to it, and it's enabled all these other areas. If we want to add a family member to this, we then just click on Add New Member, or we can delete the family. Note that you cannot delete a family if it has family members. You'd have to delete the family members first. You can also send an email or a letter to this family. Note that this assumes that an email address has already been entered for one or more family members. Right now it wouldn't be relevant. In this case, let's delete the family. And it's gone. If in the future you wish to delete a family, remember that it cannot be deleted if there are family members here. You must delete the individual family members if possible, and then you can delete the family. If, on the other hand, you just no longer want the family to be an active member in the school, just click it as inactive. In our family pane, we're seeing only active families. If I click here, I then see the inactive families. So they're still accessible within the system.